Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 373. Let's see who shows up. Man, we're just gonna have to draft this Kindred. I know that we've both recently drafted Rek'Sai twice and Nautilus maybe like three trials ago, and so that leaves us over here with this Brutality Kindred. This pool isn't as super good as the Slayer's Kindred. This one's kind of odd in my opinion, but we'll get it pulled up and talk about it just a little bit more. And so, if you're not familiar, we're over here at ftpbus.com. This is where I keep all of my expedition related content. We're just going to scroll our way down on the main page, make our way in this little drop down box down to Kindred, and take a peek at Brutality. And so, yeah, so it's like this really weird card pool, right? It has this like aggressive set of fearsome units in the common slot with Arachnid Horror and Mask Mother, and then just Black Spear Vile Feast, like no other commons. And so it doesn't give you a whole lot of stuff to work with here. And then it has some reasonable stuff throughout the rest of the way. It's got Atrocity to close out games. The Ether Fiend is a big slay unit, but it's like there's not really a whole lot going on here. The idea with this card pool is that you're paired up with um, LeBlanc, and you're supposed to be getting slays through using like strike effects, and so I don't know. Somebody came up with that idea. It just kind of feels like somebody was like, "Hey, LeBlanc and Kindred sell a lot of skins, so let's let's put some more versions of them out into Expedition." But nonetheless, as far as this card pool is concerned, there's kind of like two ways that I would look at it if we're going to try and build around Kindred. I think you can either try to build towards Fearsomes, in which case you probably want to get yourself paired up with another Shadow Isles champion or a Nasus, and then you could also look to do the standard kind of Slay theme. The only downside with the Slay theme here is we really look to chase after the likes of Hapless Aristocrat, Cursed Keeper, Fading Icon. There's a bunch of card pools that have those in them now. It feels like those got kind of spread out a little bit. They got kind of like pulled from the pools that want them and put into other ones to kind of limit how frequently they show up for Slay decks. But that's kind of the kind of core way I recommend building around Kindred is just stacking all of those early game sacrificable units that you can. Pick up some like vengeances whenever you can see them, and then just kind of let the kill your own units cards fill themselves in, and that's kind of like all there is to it. There's not a whole lot to drafting the Kindred card pools, but we'll see what shows up here, and if something interesting shows up in the next pack as well. So, okay, interesting. So we got this Nocturne. That's what I think we want to go after here. We can just chase down Fearsomes if we want. It doesn't show up as noticeably in the Luminous Dusk card pool, but it can show up in some of the other nocturne, the other like the Black Mist Nocturne, and then things like Elise have a lot of Fearsomes in them as well. So I think this will work. To just take a quick glance at these other champions. I mean, I think we could, man. I could look over at this Riven as the thing that's kind of getting to me here, is we're already starting out with like Arachnoid Horror, Vile Feast, and then over here we have the Arachnoid Sentry, and so the only thing that we're kind of like short here is that we would be looking to pick up Elisa's with Champion Pick 2 and 3. So I think this could be interesting. I haven't actually drafted this Arachnophilia Riven yet. They've replaced Draven with Riven. The champion doesn't really matter in that, since you just want the Elises so hard. So maybe we will actually just chase after the spiders. It seems more realistically good than chasing down this Nocturne. The thing that was interesting to me with this Nocturne is that it has the Glimpse Beyonds with it. And so if we want to pivot over into being a Slay deck, then we already have some of the Slay cards. But I feel like it's going to be kind of a stretch, and I don't think any of the Slay cards live over here in Luminous Dusk. And so let's do Try the Spiders here. I'm kind of interested. It's been a while since we've actually come out here and drafted spiders. It's still a reasonably strong archetype. It's it's in tier 3 in my opinion. It's closer to tier 2 than tier 4, and so it's still a respectable card pool, but it's got some changes to it, and so we'll take a quick talk about that one as well. So again, this is one of these card pools. They put Riven actual everywhere. So there's 4 copies of Riven and Expedition now. And so they've taken this card pool, they added in these random cards that don't make any sense, like why is Crimson Bloodletter in the Spiders card pool? This card is abysmally horrible with a lot of the Spiders. Like, why? What kind of synergies is this thing actually generating? And then it's like, well, we put Riven in here, so we have to include the Reforge package. So there's, the Blade Squire, the Rune Weaver, but no weapon hilt. And so I don't know. I don't know what they did here. Again, that's kind of like my thought process as far as why is Riven and Arachnophilia. Like I can see why they would want to take Draven out. As far as I'm aware of, he doesn't have any like themes or ties to Elise, and so he's just kind of like a rando champion. So let's just put another rando champion in here. But it's like now that we're adding in all these other Riven cards, is that just because the Spiders card pool was too good, or is it because Riven sells a lot of skins? That's up for you to decide. I don't have the answer to that one, but being in the Spiders theme, we are going to be out here just looking for the Spiders. That has gotten diluted down quite a bit, and so even if the Spiders don't come together with the likes of using Arachnoid Host and Shrieking Spinner, you tend to be able to get a pretty good go wide deck together with these, and so you get a lot of bonuses out of having a completely full board. You have things like House Spider that makes 2 units, there's Brood Awakening and Shadow Isles that makes 3, and then you can look to play things like Arena Battlecaster and Crowd Favorite to take advantage of your full board. And so, first and foremost, we are going to look to be a Spiders deck, but we don't have to be like a hardcore, dedicated, all in on Spiders style deck. We can be happy enough just having some minor synergies and not just being a full on Spiders or bust kind of theme. Okay, so Riven. Let's see here. Odd, an odd little set. It's like I really want these like Arachnophilia cards showing up. I can't remember what the cohesiveness bonus looks like for this kind of deck, but the crawling sensations that are just so bad. And so I'm going to take the Legion Rearguard here. Hopefully, we still just have enough spider-based cards in our deck for it to think that we want to be spiders. This is a wild pick, but seems to at least worked out there. But the spiders are not coming together. Like you just see stuff like this, and it's like, why? Why is Crimson Bloodletter in this card pool? Like this is an abysmally horrible card that has just such horrible interactions with everything. Like, uh I don't know, whatever. At any rate, I'm just going to take the strength in numbers pack. Kind of think of ourselves as perhaps being a go wide deck that has spiders in it instead of a spiders deck with some go wide strategies to it. But here, hey, we got our first Arachnophilia pack. It's got another one of these turds in it. Absolutely glad to see Crimson Bloodletter making its way into our deck. Said no one ever, but there it is. It's there. This one, it kind of sucks for us. Grasp of the Undying is just not good in this style of deck, and we definitely do not want to be in Shurima, and so we're stuck with the Tusk Raider Assessor. We're not going to get any real usage out of the Assessor, but the Tusk Raider could be a reasonable game closer here. Okay, and then with this pack, I'm reasonably happy enough to pick up Astral Foxes. These are a decent game closer. It seems like it's a little bit better than like Doom Beast in my books in this style of deck. We probably shouldn't be taking too much damage from our opponents anyways, and then being able to attack with the Fearsome gives this guy a bit of hope to maybe chunk in for 6 damage instead of just 3. But quite strong, has a Hapless Aristocrat with a pretty good set of cards. Okay, got another strength in numbers, which I think that we have to seriously consider. I wanted to see what we could do with the Bloody Business, though. We've got technically strength in numbers that maybe gets up to 5 attack for this thing. The Tusk Raider, the Assessor can't do it. Kindred can get real close. Thorn of the Rose, Trifarian. So it's like we have 3 real targets and then some like maybe 1 days we'll get theirs, but it just feels better taking multiple strength in numbers than it does picking up a Wrathful Rider. So snatch that one up. Okay, and then here we are going to finally get stuck with the crawling sensations. I think the Arachnoid Horror is too good to pass up, and then cards like Reckoning won't work in this deck. Cards like Thorned Blade are just garbage, and so hopefully we can come in and just trade it away at some point. Okay, and well, we got a Rune Weaver with a Vile Feast. That's a high quality early game play along with a removal spell. Happy enough to pick that up. Okay, alrighty. Well, some of the strategies are making an appearance. Good. Oh, well, there's the Arachnoid Host, but we have our 3rd strength in numbers down here. I think we have to just continue to take the strength in numbers. It's too important and too good in the late game. Right. Well, here's the kind of spiders that I was hoping we'd get to try out a bit. They for whatever reason, like Soul Spinner, just got left out of the game forever, and it didn't even appear in the spiders deck. It's like when they did put it in the game, they put it in like Retribution, and they didn't put it in Arachnophilia. It was super weird that they did that stuff, but it's like, do we want this actual spider with the kind of weak Scuttlegeist, or do we want a rear guard here? And I'm just leaning towards taking the rear guard. I have a really challenging time passing these things. But okay, a real choice here. We have three strengthened numbers. Uh, Four is a little overboard, but I'm actually not opposed to going to four. And then it has the high quality Drafari and Glory Seeker, especially in this deck that has the likes to get some reforges to maybe give a quick attack. We have Atrocity here, which is extremely good at closing out games, but it's paired up with a Turd and Thornblade, and then just a real high quality set of early game plays. And I'm leaning towards just taking the Astral Fox Arachnoid Horror. I don't really think we need the three strengthened numbers here. So let's try to stay on theme a little bit with what we're doing. Okay, well, I'm not a huge fan of like Stalking Shadows or Glimpse Beyond in this style of deck. I thought we already had one Glimpse Beyond, but picking up Hapless Aristocrats always feels good. And this last one here, I haven't actually had a chance to play with the Incisive Tactician, and so I guess this will be our chance to try it. My impression is that this card is not going to be very good, but having a rally effect can be quite powerful, and the crawling sensations is terrible. So feels reasonable to pick up. So interesting. This turned out kind of weird. Well, uh, I guess I shouldn't say weird. Just not quite how I expected. Let me turn something premium, and then we can talk about it a little bit more. So get down to these commons: Shadow Isles, Noxus, not owned. Uh, oh, we have them all. Everything we passed on the Soul Spinner, so we can't pick up any of those. If we look at the spells, I assure you, we have a spell. Oh, there's the Bloody Business. We picked up one of those. All right, Bloody Business. This is your time to shine. But no, like our deck, that's I don't know. Like why are the reforges and all like the bloodletters in Arachnophilia? I'm sure someone has their reasons, but thematically it does make sense to me. Like I I have this problem. One of my things with like Expedition is there's 100 some different archetypes, right? There's like I can't remember the actual numbers, but there's like 46 or 48 archetypes. So that would be like Arachnophilia. Then they're split in two. So Arachnophilia has Raven and Arachnophilia has Shadow Isles, and then there's like a single one uh, one champion faction like the Daybreak Leona one and um, like Nox and Midarius, and so it gets just up over 100 of these. But some of them just have like no consistent themes. Like if you looked at our draft yesterday with like Suit Up Sejuani, there's not a real theme there, and so why even have it be one? And then with this Riven, like why do you put Riven in this? Why did you add all these cards that have nothing to do with spiders in them? Like I'm curious as to what the like line of reasoning behind that is, because I could see it being like, well, we don't want to hold everyone's hand on building a deck, and these synergy decks tend to be too good. If you just get too much of the synergies, fine, and then you can run into things where it's like, well, we need to be able to kind of like interact and support the other card pools. It's like uh, no card pool should just be kind of like its own little world and independent of everything else. Like I get that there's a lot of reasoning behind it, but it just feels like a lot of this stuff could be like pruned down to where you're not um, running into card pools like this Arachnophilia. I don't know. But I just play the game. What can I say? But let's get to it. Okay. So ranting aside, I think this deck is okay. Our late game isn't exactly where I want it to be, but we have all the tools to be a decent deck here. So see if we can't. Still want to come in and pick up an Elise for our second champion and see what we can do in that sense. But as far as these go, I think the Vile Feast should be reasonably strong here. I think I want to look for like another early game play. I'll let it just kind of like play out. If we don't, we have some interaction in the event we don't pick up a one or a two. And we certainly did. We got a 1 and a 2 here, so let's get him going. Fortunately, can't block here, but this is fine. Oh, good. Gotta burn the pre-science Stefan to lurk. Good. We'll see. We'll see if he spiked a pike or something there, but I think we'll be fine either way. Okay. must feel good to be playing lurks. Sorry, Ice Lord. It's not your fault, I assure you. So do we just want to just get this off the board? We can take this down with a Vile Feast, but I think this seems fine. I'd rather just get Riven going, I think.
I was born in battle and raised by war.
Can get a big blasting in here if we want. We can add the Thorn of the Rose and then just stun whatever he plays. Try to hit for 9. Yep, I like it.
Clumsy footwork.
You got something's happening. Okay. Looks like we'll lose our Riven next turn. Not a problem. Real close. We got the 3 damage in hand and a big overwhelm card if that's what we need to do. Oh. 2 lists. Sure. And she got us a 2-for-1 and a blade fragment. It's still a pretty good deal. Okay. We just need to do some surviving here. Once we, oh god, we're gonna kill our spider because of this stupid thing. Come on. The card is so stupid. Oh, no, we don't have enough mana. Oh man, we messed this turn up. I think we'll still be okay, but okay, so with this, unless he has another card, he's gonna have to block the Astral Fox with his pike. Then I assume he'll block the Blade Squire with Zillion, and we get in for 3. Okay. Alrighty. Good game, friend. Oh no, his pike just aced our team. Oh, I forgot that was going to be a thing. I didn't realize he was going to survive against those units. We should have put our units on the other side. Whoops. I saw that. I saw the animation happening, thought it was going to end. Oh, whoops. Oh man, we're going to lose this one now, aren't we? Okay. So we're fine now. We don't lose this game anymore. So we do well. Well, we might. How much is this? Yeah, we can get in for 4. Right, his biggest blocker is a 3 health, and we can hit for 7. Okay. I wasn't... oh no, he can just block this thing with Riven. Oh shit. Or he can block it with Zillion. We'll get in for 3. How's this gonna go? You get okay, sure. I don't think that was lethal there, but definitely had to sweat that one out. I guess we should have attacked with that Astral Fox over on the left, and that would have perhaps changed things, or maybe not. But all right, at any rate, here's the Elise that we're looking to switch over to. Happy enough to pick that out. We got to go wide card in there to go with her. Looking strong. Okay. Whew. All right, let's see if we can get rolling. We definitely didn't deserve a win there. I've only gotten to deal with the pike flip and in lab, and so it takes a while for me to get used to this stuff. I've never had somebody strike me back with the pike flip, I think, or if somebody did, I think he was already flipped when it happened, and so it wasn't as mind blowing when it happened. And that was so wild though, just to see the flip animation and be like, all right, game over, and then be like, what the heck are we still in this game for? What's going on here? Alrighty. Let's see. We want to get rid of these expensives, and being against the Riven Shurima combo, we probably need to be on the cheaper side of things, and so we'll just hang on to 1 3-drop to ensure we have something to play on the 3rd turn and look for cheaper cards elsewhere. Do you think a little bit baked is enjoying his baked lays right now? his favorite snack in the chip aisle.
When will I find peace?
Ready to block. If he has a combat trick to win the combat with the Curator into Riven, I'm okay with that.
What do we need again?
Ugh. Yeah, that's annoying. That unit is large. I mean, we can technically still attack with everything. We can trade with this, and he's going to be left with the Safecracker. Maybe we just swing with these. Kind of feels like if he had like a reasonable combat trick, he probably would have just attacked with the Curator last turn, right? We'll hang on to Riven. There's a non-zero chance we get one of these swords going, and they just don't have an answer for it. Shurima has some real issues with dealing with Riven sworded units.
I need just a moment.
Thank you.
If they don't break, they'll burn. Make the Empire proud.
Trying to see when we're going to get a 5 damage hit in, so we get these reputations going. It looks like the time that happens is never.
It's nothing personal.
Bringing that thunder, huh? You got the combat trick now? Interesting. Right, something's gonna happen, right? But if it's like, oh, I guess it just doesn't have combat tricks. Kind of interested in doing the thing we did last game, where we just play the Thorn of the Rose and drop the Guile on whatever blocker they have. But there's a decent chance that they have a a real blocker here. And so let's just go ahead and get our damage in. Assume that we'll lose Riven next turn. That's okay. But then maybe get something going with Thorn of the Rose as well. Start with Whispered Words, right? If we're gonna like Thorn of the Rose here, I want to don't want to get stuck with this like weird 5 mana. So I wanted to see if we'd draw something that would play a little bit better. Go for on the Profiteer. Didn't try to quick attack or plus health the Glory Seeker. Okay. Right. Made a valiant effort, Riven. We want to do this. I'm thinking, like, we can use the Astral Fox to kill off our Blade Squire, which seems legitimate. I would suspect that our opponent is never going to get in combat with this Squire.
Nothing can stop me.
Yeah, let's start with that and see what happens. Kind of want to save this Stun Spider for next turn, and so I'm curious as to, well, his open attack makes sense since we had the Guile in our hand, right? But I'm curious why his unit of choice post combat was the Reckless Drafarian. I assume that's to be a, well, thought it was going to be for like a bloody business, but apparently not. So now that he's played Captain Farron, how close can we get to a kill this turn? So let's say we stun Captain Farron. Let's say we stun Riven. He blocks Elephant with Profiteer. He takes 3. So he takes 3 regardless of what unit he blocks. So we've got 3, 6. Let's say he blocks this in 6, 7. Okay, this is good. We're just good here. This one, we got a +2 attack somewhere. Put that on our Overwhelm, I guess. Send everybody to the party. That should do it. Emotes. Oh, I'm gonna go to emote real quick. Get him in there, Cupcake.
Call that an offer?
Okay. Ooh, good stuff. Dude had the premium Captain Farron too. Where's that? Premium Captain Farron's got the goods. Okay, do you want to pick up more strength in numbers? I don't think so. So we'll get rid of the Trifarian Assessor. We don't have enough 5 attack matters for that to be any good. And then even if we aren't doing much with the spiders, the Frenzied Skitterers are great. And so if the best that it does is, say, give an Arachnid Horror +1 attack and then weaken our opponent's team, that's a pretty good deal. And so, yes, we would prefer to be full-on spiders, but it's not tough for that unit to get some pretty good value. That spider thing. This can also kind of turn into the Fearsome's deck as well. We aren't really built up for it with how this worked out, but Elise is extremely good if you can pair her up with another Shadow Isles champion and you load up on the Fearsome Dogs, the Arachnid Horrors, the Elises, and then that spider that we just picked up that gives your spiders the bonus and your opponent neg attack. It's quite the powerful early game aggression. That's for another day. I'm sure we got a video out there of that kind of thing. But, oh man, we had the premium Elise too. Yeah, we gotta make the premium Kindred just so he's not feeling lonely. Okay. hang on to a couple twos. Probably don't have enough ones to like really hard mulligan for ones, but man, we do have this really dope like Crimson Bloodletter Reforge combo that I'm really glad is a part of this card pool. Keep the salt down. Keep it down. Just push it in as deep as it'll go. And we're making this trade. The Vigio has a lot of the slay effects, and we really like to keep these cursed keepers off of the board. So if they want to, if they want to get the likes of their, let's do Green Weaver here. Any of the their slay abilities, it's just trying to put them in a spot to where if he wants to blight a caretaker next turn, he's going to have to do a little bit more work, right? He's going to have to play a unit or take some damage here. We're hoping to get them in a spot to where they have a hand that has like a Glimpse Beyond and a Spirit Leech and a Blighted Caretaker in it, and then just nothing on the board. So in the early game, I think it's usually pretty important to try and take those units off the board. Okay, and so what do we think about trying to get the strength in numbers going? So if we only spend 3 mana this turn, we can do it. I think that seems okay. We'll take a 3 hit from the Ambassador just to get the strength in numbers going next turn. Surprised he didn't attack there. I'll be honest, I've made that play before. But positive for us. Oh, that is a big old Vigio. I don't think we can just like sit around on our Legion Marauders. We just gotta slam them in here and start weakening up his units. Mist comes down. Vigio gets a little bit bigger. Okay. Might be in a reasonable enough place to deal with him. What was that? Boy, I'll ruinous path. Sure. I thought that was the thing that puts the I thought it was the thing that puts your the not ruin runner, the mess this up. He already lost 1 unit this turn, didn't he? No, he's still getting the bonus. I thought we'd be able to respond to anything he did with the bloody business and take down the Vigio. Alright, well maybe we'll do something next turn. Something like that.
We got it first.
Obey your king.
This feels scary. Let's do that. Let's do it off of the Trifari, and so if he has a Vengeance here, then, if we like Vengeance the Marauder, he gets to keep his unit. And so, yeah, now he has to Vengeance the Trifari, and so we still get his unit off the board. Okay. So we'll be like a little bit slow if we try to get the Slay onto Vigio, but let's see how this goes though. He attacks with this thing now and we get the kill in combat, it'll put the Kindred attack or the Kindred thing onto Vigio. Does that leave us? I think we're getting close to being lined up to getting a play on him. Okay. That's not who we wanted to see. Oh shit, he just kills our Kindred. I forgot that he was going to do that. Alright, so maybe we did lose this one. I think we could have... There was something we could have done in there to get around that. I don't think we sequenced that out exactly right. That was one of the first times I've actually gotten to play against him. Feels like we should have been able to do something with Kindred in there to ensure that we got the kill onto him. But moving forward, not really interested in any of these. I could see an argument for picking up the Trifari and for the Astral Fox, just to push our curve down a little bit, but I think it's reasonable enough to hold on to here, so we'll go ahead and skip over this trade. Let's click surrender. Yeah, I think seems like we were just like a little bit off of being able to get the Kindred ability onto him. So also, I mean, I think the turn before we played Bloody Business, we kind of had the option to do it there as well, but didn't. I thought that we were going to be able to hit him with a, I thought we'd be able to respond to anything that he did. But this looks like a reasonable start. We got a 2 and a 3 and more of the 2s along with a removal spell. Not the worst thing you could be doing. I think we have to worry about Vile Feasts, but let's still just go ahead and start with the Horror. Okay. Gladly take any spell for half of an Aristocrat. Oh, interesting. Much aggression coming from dude. The overwhelm. Okay. Well, it doesn't say. Let's like the play that he wants to have for next turn is Ash, and if we get to just slam this board into Ash, that would be absolutely fantastic. Okay. Close to flipping though. Okay.
My aim is true.
And we're going to take 9. It's fine-ish. It's not...
Swiftly now.
Do we get more damage in by playing the Astral Fox? We have to kill off one of our own units. So. We need to be getting this attack in before he has the chance to play Crystal Arrow.
Backing down.
Well, let's see if he's got the Frostbite. We could technically wait until after combat, but I don't want to lose our Arachnid Horror if we don't have to. Falls to 5.
Nothing can stop us.
Alright, well, let's play Whispered Words. I can say it's like if we play the Stalking Shadows, we're probably not going to play any units that we draw off of it anyway, so let's just play the Whispered Words in case we draw a good spell for this turn. So that's a lot of overwhelm coming at us. We can, the only worry here would be an unspeakable horror. I guess the Shadow Isles removal spell is still in the game, so we should maybe just prevent as much as we can. Okay, and then we'll just try to get in with a double rear guard. He's gonna need another harsh winds here. Still beat harsh winds as well now that we drew decisive maneuver. Oh, you have to stun an enemy. I kind of want to stun my own unit here. Nice. Nice little play off the top. Can't complain about that. Okay, trial continues. Good stuff. Where are you at, Elise? Those cards are so expensive. I really don't want these expensive cards. Like, our top end is just set. I don't even really want this Incisive Tactician and adding in all this expensive shit. But I guess we have to hope we can trade it away. Elise is just too good. We don't have, like, the most spider synergies. I mean, I guess we didn't really have to dive into Elise, but it's just like I ultimately have this problem with Riven where she doesn't do anything. She's just a loyal badger bear that makes a reforge, and like Elise comes down here and just like does stuff. Don't quite have the cards to like get her flipping super fast, but so powerful. Out here making premium spiders all over the place. Got our boy Legion Rearguard. Yes, I missed you, my man. It's been too long. We should get a beer sometime and catch up on the old days. See if they play like the 3-2 draw card or something here. Oh, I just draw gotcha. I guess we can't say stuff like, "Oh, you drew gotcha, did you?" After we just drew that decisive maneuvers in the last game. But like I always say, when our opponents do it to us, it's luck. When we do it to them, it was skill. We planned it out that way. Hopefully, to a degree, that has some truth to it, but not usually when we're up at the MMRs we're playing at here. There's always that saying in poker that you know, you want to be the one that people are getting lucky on, right? Because that implies that you're in these situations to where you are ahead most of the time and your opponent is the one having to get lucky to win. You can look at it that way if you want. I just prefer not to believe in luck. I think that works out a little bit easier. Okay, things are working here. We got all this dome damage we can be sending, and this is not a place where you want to be playing careful preparation. So that makes me feel pretty decent about what's happening. I'm planning on starting off with the Stalking Shadows. See if we hit something a little bit more appealing than the Astral Fox. But if we don't, it's okay. That's the only play we can make other than the Fox. So just the way things work out here. We counted up 7 mana, said, how do I play 7 mana worth of cards? Figured it out. We could just... Is there anything we'd rather play than this, though? Maybe now that he's played the Ruin Runner. Okay, with the Trifarians. Okay, we'll just take this 6 hit. We'll see what we can do with the can't block package here. We just need to get him to 3, right? If we get him to 3, then we can just kill him with the other Astral Fox.
The way is always the same.
That should be pretty tough for this guy to deal with. Yeah. Say this seems like, given the makeup of his draw, he had like quite a few expensive things in his hand. Cool. Can't block package getting in there. We see we can trade out Riven for Callista, which doesn't really feel like an upgrade here. We don't have any blighted caretakers. I'm always interested in Kato the Arm. Our curve is, getting a little bit expensive, but he's just too good to pass up, I think. Welcome to the squad, my man. Okay. Cool. So thinking, man, thinking back of that Vigio deck, I want to get to drafting. They put those big bonuses on the new card pools, and I just haven't seen him. We got to draft the Shyvana, we got to draft the Action. We haven't gotten to draft Vigio yet. Diego, try to say it like a normal. F that, he's Vigio for the rest of time. Okay, so some kind of mega keg looking number here where they try to take advantage of the old powder kegs. Let's see what comes out of this. That's what you usually see with Swing Gangplank. Great start. I would love to get rid of some of this expensive stuff. Again, I don't want Rekindler, I don't want Rasa, I don't want Incisive Tactician. Kato's fine. One Decisive Maneuver is fine. And we're kind of fine once we get to Armored Tusk Raider and below. It's just these expensive cards I never want to see. Okay. Kind of tempted just to hit this with the Vile Feast instead of playing Elise, but we have a lot of options with this Elise, especially if we draw a true 2-drop next turn. There's a lot of two attack units in both Bilgewater and in Noxus, so there's a decent chance our Elise can't get blocked even after we play a card. Okay, let's try it. I'd say it's a 40% chance he has a blocker here, right? Do the mathematics. It's probably 40%. Whenever you have the premium Elise, it takes that percentage down by 5%. So for you normals out there, you're not premiuming up your Elises, they probably got a 40 to 50% chance of having a 3-attack unit here, and having Elise reduces that number drastically. Such premium. Pay to win lifestyle. This is looking good. He doesn't have fantastic blocks on our 1/1. I'd say we might get a kill with the 1/1. We might have a good Vile Feast next turn. If he doesn't interact with the 1/1, we might get to flip this Elise pretty quickly. Okay. Okay, so the awkward thing here is if we continue to play on curve, we'll want to play strengthen numbers next turn. This is our kind of new game plan now that Elise is gone. I was gonna say it kind of sucks in that for us to bank this spell mana, we either can only play Vile Feast or nothing else. But since we drew a 2-drop, it just works out.
Deal me in.
Okay.
Hold it, partner.
Strike at their foundation.
Let's go ahead and try to get this thing out of here. Reduce the number of ways he has to deal with our Legion Marauders, and then if he does want to deal with them, hopefully he has to try and do it with Twisted Fate. Nice, big time.
Like a fish in water.
That board does not interact well with Legion Marauders. I did the mathematics on this scenario. These 2/2s do not block our 5/4s very well. I'm gonna take this 10 bomb here.
A game. Go on then. Watch the ball, folks.
All right, so similar to the last round, we need to bank some spell mana here, but on this turn we only need to bank one. So I'm really kind of looking to drop a Frenzied Skitterer or drop a Arachnoid Horror, whatever looks to be the better way to go about it, whether or not that's weakening the width or weakening the strength, and now we just get to stun the Sheriff. That's pretty easy. Okay. Ooh, almost moved the wrong one out there. I think it would still be fine, but comes the squad. Is this going to be like a scrap shot? Oh, Blade's Edge to the face? That's probably for a plunder. Okay. Right. A little scary, not gonna lie. We can. I don't. He's just gonna have good blocks always. So bluff one of these. Look at all them stats.
Wait a minute.
You can't do this.
Lasso 'em.
Quick death was too good.
Can't Vile Feast Faced. You can use the Unspeakable Horror, and as one of my Lab of Legends followers the other day pointed out, you can actually just parlay to the face. I never realized that. I thought you always had to kill a unit with parlay to deal damage. It says deals 1 damage to anything. So you have some additional options there. Do we ever lose this if we don't like Arachnid Sentry the Gangplank? We just have to have enough stats here, right? We do both. No, we can't do both the Tactician and the Sentry though. So what I think I'm leaning towards here is I'm just going to put the biggest Marauder in front of Gangplank. We have the Vile Feast for the Powder Keg to weaken off the Gangplank Blast, whatever this is called. And then hopefully we can just win with the Tactician after the fact. That's the idea. Feels very much like one of these as long as we don't lose we'll win kind of situations when you got 4 Marauders on the board.
First let the blood, then
Alright, so he has to attack now, right? He can't play more cards or we'll attack him.
I'll show him pain. If you ain't hurt, you will be. Look what I found.
Comes the squad. You can block it for it to not be lethal, but the open next turn should easily do it.
Just
Did some more damage.
For the glory of
So what's the worst thing that could happen? He has like a Noxan Guillotine. Still, oh, he just doesn't have any cards in his hand now.
That's my tail.
Okay, I'll risk it. I guess you can't guillotine everything away anyways, right? You'd only get one of them off there. It's not a burst, it's a fast. Cool. Okie dokie, what are we going to do here? We don't want more tacticians, don't want to trade away our rune weavers. The Trifarian Hopeful. It's tough. Kind of like it, kind of don't. If we had more like one drops, I'd kind of be okay with it. I think I just want to hang on to our Reckless Trifarians, though. Not quite Noxus-y enough for me to think we reliably get this down on turn 2 with the stats. Let's skip over that one. Okay, pre-final battle. Do it. Here's some LeBlanc and some Darius with a little bit of Thresh. Okay. Something like that'll work. If we can do some stun spidering on LeBlanc, get her shut down. It's only good on the attack, so we can take her out of about a third of the game. That would be pretty nice.
Reporting in. I'll do better this time.
Uh-oh, get him, rear guard. Oh, favorite play in Runeterra right there.
I need just a moment.
Good. Don't. I think we just have to open here. It depends on what we pick up, but yeah, no reason to add stun spider, and adding the 1 point of damage from the aristocrat's probably just gonna get shut down.
Lady Elise, where are you?
Okay, well, ooh, interesting things we could do now. I was assumed that we would just go for the strength in numbers play, but okay.
I stand for Noxus.
Half a good block here. That seems okay to me.
These I have connections.
These are capable of killing our marauders, so I would like to see them go. But I'm leaning towards just playing Kindred now. Opponent seems to be fairly far behind.
Never once.
Without the other.
None stronger, none more feared.
I'll do better this time.
I think we probably keep these spiders back. He has 2 easy blocks onto them, and so we can just attack with our real units. Okay. Got him to 6, so we just need to do 3 with the Astral Fox in our hand. We're gonna lose Kindred here, but that's okay. The rest of this board isn't too scary. We have 9. Play the Blade Squire.
Hunters, they said.
Tear them apart.
You should have run.
I don't want to make blocks here unless we're going to get a kill. So there's no reason to block the Marauder. And as long as we can just try and get wider than opponent, we should be fine. +2 attack, not a bad pickup. Okay, let's send in the squad.
Ready.
Just need to get in for 3, which if he comes down here and blocks our big units to the right, we'll be doing. Feels good. Get to watch this thresh animation while we're at it. Not my favorite. Sorry. I'm sure Simone put a lot of work into that thresh animation, but the new ones are just like so much longer. Wild. Got him. Final battle time. Righty, so what are we going to do here? Not trading out the Blade Squires. Cool to trade out Whispered Words. It's been, okay here, but not spectacular, and I don't want Sharpened Resolve, so sure, we can pick up a removal spell. This one, again, we don't want Callista. I don't know why it keeps trying to offer us that up. I want to keep our Spider card in Vile Feast. Don't want the Calling Strike. Everglade Collector is a strong pickup. We don't really need too much in the way of top end, though. I think I'm actually going to skip over this one. Not quite that, like, super go wide with all the house spiders and stuff kind of deck, and so it's okay to let this one go. Don't have enough quick attack combos for the Glory Seeker. I'd rather keep the spider. Okay. My goodness. Come on. Oof. Kitty. Okay, here's one we'll finally make. We can get rid of the Rekindler for a Trifarian. Still push our curve lower. Oh my god. What do we think about this atrocity? I mean, it's something that could reasonably hit for 5. I wish we could trade out the Bloodletter for atrocity because I just do not like this card. But I think I'm okay to trade out the Bloodletter for the Tusk Raider, a similar closer. And our last choice to pick up an Aristocrat for the Black Spear. That's pretty close. Again, don't have like a lot of sacrifice combos for the Aristocrat. Don't have a lot of removal either. I'd rather just kind of help guarantee that I have a 1-drop though. We got a kitty to help us out now as well. And not a bad little deck. Wish we had more spider synergies. I don't think we've drawn an Arachnoid host the entire draft. That's our only real like big synergy card is the host. But let's see if it finds us an opponent. No Poro bots today. We're on the cancel squad now. I got in a match against the Poro bot like 2 months ago, and that's all we needed. To back to playing against humans. Gotta deny it, right? You gotta come out here and just say no. Do not get the epic capsule. Need to visit ftpbus.com and study a little more. That's what we say. Need an emote for that so we can pop it up at the beginning of every game. Oh my goodness. This is not inconvenient. The cat. All right, we'll let it get to the 50 mark and then we'll cancel it and restart. Artificially inflating the length of the videos. Like, oh shit, it's another one of them 2-hour videos. It's just 50 minutes of us sitting here waiting for a game. She seriously needs some pets. That's the good stuff. This is also, it's probably the the second best way to get better at the game. Number one's turn all your cards premium. Number two, yeah, have a kitty nearby, ready to deliver some head scratches. There we go. All right. Opponent has been found. Callista, Hecarim, Elise, all in Shadow Isles. Okay. I would venture a guess that it's probably some kind of Fearsome's base deck, but we'll see. Time will tell. Start though. This is how you do the aggro. Get a chance to see what happens, but we'll probably lead off with the Blade Squire just because it can interact with our opponent's one. But then if they just pass it to us, we'll play the rear guard. It's got more stats. That's how you do that. Do we want to go for the 5 damage or just the 2? I think we just go for the 5. If he wants to play a Fearsome, it's not going to interact well with our board. Strong, looking strong. This is where you gotta find some of those go wide cards though, right? Where the quality of our hand is quite low at this point, and so I need something to just push it over the top. No idea why I didn't attack with the Shark Chariot, but to each their own. Hey, we're getting it real close. I'm just going to pass on the Aristocrat. We'll see if we can't make a little better usage of our board. Like with that. That's how you make better usage of your board. Rip. I think we spent more time in the queue than the match itself took. That's the way it goes sometimes. That's the way it goes. 3 minutes in the queue, 90 seconds in the game. So cool. Cool, nice little 7 winner. Let's get this pulled up and we'll talk about it a little bit more. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I talked to, twice about about what's the deal with the Arachnophilia Riven and like why is it like that? And I mean, I don't feel too much need to go on the rant anymore, but it's still extremely awkward to. You could even see throughout large parts of that draft. It's like, okay, here's our Arachnophilia pack. It's got Crimson Bloodletter in it. Like, why did we have to see these so many times? It doesn't play on theme with the go wide strategy. It doesn't play on theme with the spiders. Like, you're playing a deck that is like 100% centered on generating 1 toughness units. Like, why are we playing Crimson Bloodletter? There's like a total of 0 combos within the entirety of Arachnophilia for this dumb. And that was in general more frustrating than fun for me. So I don't know what the deal with that is, but that was the thing. And so, kind of historically in the past, you'd be able to just like look at these cards and say, okay, this says spider on it, I'm going to take it. If it has a crawling sensations in it, maybe not. And that was that was kind of the extent of it. And I do concede that that's not like really compelling draft strategy. But at the end of the day, you were making decisions between, do I go full synergy or do I go good cards? And there were quite a few cards in Arachnophilia that just weren't good cards. And so I kind of prefer that style of drafting as opposed to, well, you just can't actually ever assemble this unless you super high roll. And so, like, maybe the Spiders deck was too good. We've run into multiple metas where the Spiders deck is atrociously bad. I personally thought that we were going to be cycling back to a more misfortune slash make it rain style meta where there's 4 misfortune card pools out there now, and then make it rain is reduced back to being a 2-cost spell. But Bilgewater is also kind of the worst faction in the game, and so it's not like ultra surprising that she's not showing up. But before the release of Call of the Mountain, like the quality of Bilgewater then was just completely shutting down everything to do with these spiders decks. And so there has been like times in the meta to where this deck was like extremely good. There are times when it was extremely bad. This doesn't feel like a time when it's extremely good. It seems like it's fair to slightly above average. And so I don't know why the need was felt to put in Crimson Bloodletters and all the Rivens and everything. It's just kind of a I don't know. It feels bad to me. Not bad in the sense that the quality is low, but bad in the sense that this is not fun, and so it's a little bit unfortunate there. But that was the third time we've made the rant in the video. I do want to kind of circle back and talk about actually building this deck, and you are able to take this and still just go for a go wide strategy. You could see the majority of those games we aced off really quick. We were able to just get this like really low to the ground curve where we spent all of our mana in the first 3 turns, and then we kind of slowed down a bit, but we're able to continue our width with something like a strength in numbers. You typically just do that with Brood Awakening, but strength in numbers was our go wide card of choice here. And then you're usually able to build up a little bit more kind of like give stats to everything cards, whether or not that's Brood Awakening for the spiders. Did we not have the Arachnid Horror in our deck? We didn't take it, did we? As like, well, I guess that's why we never drew it. It's not in our deck. But the likes of Arachnoid Horror, Arena Battlecaster, crowd favorite, Vision. Just we have decisive maneuvers here. Just these things that give all of your cards plus attack is what you are looking to have capitalize on this. So the last game we played there is kind of like the perfect example of why you need these cards, where we went like turn 1 we played a 1-drop, turn 2 we played 2 1s, turn 3 we played a 1 and a 2. If we ran into an opponent that was like, I don't know, here's my Zillion and then here's my Loyal Badger Bear, like we have serious problems beating openings like that, and you just have to kind of keep going face and then hope that picking up +4 damage off of a Vision helps you like get a trade and get some face damage in, since your board falls down in quality quite a bit. And so that's what we typically look for. The cards like Astral Fox, where you have this like reach that you can do out of combat, are nice. We typically prefer to use something like a Neverglade Collector, but the Astral Fox did well enough here. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, just keep your curve extremely low. I don't like to pick up too many combat tricks in this style of deck. I do prefer Brothers Bond to just about any of them, since you tend to play Brothers Bond, give a unit +2 attack that's getting into face, and then winning a combat somewhere else. So you're kind of only spending half of a card to get the takedown in combat. But as you can see here, the combat tricks aren't super important to have. Cards like Vile Feast and Unspeakable Horror play quite well, since your opponent tends to get value blocks, and then they just have a 1 health unit sitting around. But again, the big thing here is determining whether or not you are a spiders deck or a go wide deck. And then once you've determined that, you can kind of pick and choose as to whether or not you're going to add the Arachnid Sentries, whatever the 5/3 is, or if you're just adding crowd favorites, or how you want to go about it. If it needs to be on spider theme or off spider theme, because the way it kind of plays itself out is like the go wide strategy might be able to get up to like an 8 out of 10 in quality. The spiders deck might be able to get up to a 9 out of 10 in quality. But if you don't have like the spiders deck completely come together and you just have these random cards with no synergies, then that might fall down to like a 6.5 or something. And so that's where I feel like the big decision making comes in, is, hey, am I going all in on spiders, or am I just trying to go wide here? And then how can I best support either of the strategies? And so I thought we navigated that pretty well here. Maybe Elise wasn't the best choice for us. Maybe we didn't have to go for her, but I still think that she was pretty strong here. Even if we came nowhere near flipping her, even just getting these Elise plus a spiderling attack is huge, right? Getting 7 stats for 2 mana is quite good. So, oh no, pretty happy with this. Not a bad little trial, if I do say so myself. So let's go back here, see if we got any rewards to click on before we call it a day. Oh, you get to look at these 3 purple rectangles on the screen. Oh, maybe just 1 at this point. And that will do it for the rewards. So I hope everyone enjoyed the trial. You learned how to assemble the spiders a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.